Well, getting back to our top story of the hour, it is about the iPad. I should say our top story for the next 3 days, maybe even the next 3 weeks. Who am I kidding? We are back here with Ed Baig. You're our personal tech columnist for USA Today. You wrote, your headline was, "It's a winner," but you were on with us just a few moments ago saying you have reservations. One thing I want to ask you about on this reservation kind of angle here, $500 might be a lot for somebody to pay who is not sure if he or she is actually going to use it. I mean, it's cool, it's beautiful, but there are some limits to what it can do.
Absolutely, and the limits are the kind of computing that you really need. I mean, this is not a computer. A lot of people have said it's more of a consuming device than something you're going to create a lot of stuff with. That's absolutely true.
Meaning you're not going to do spreadsheets on this thing. You're going to watch TV, you can watch movies.
Well, you can do spreadsheets. Apple is actually making very inexpensively versions of its iWork productivity software suite on here, but that's really not the sweet spot for this thing. This is an entertainment device. It's wonderful for playing games, for reading books, for browsing the web, again with some reservations because you can't see all the video because of Adobe Flash. But you're right. It's $500, and that's the entry-level price. You can go up to $800 plus if you want the device with Wi-Fi and 3G.
And what about the perception that all tech companies release one product and then the better one comes out, I don't know, 8 to 12 months later? Do you think Apple is going to have to fight that idea? In other words, there's going to be a lot of people just waiting to see what they hear about it.
Well, I suspect there are already people lining up to buy this thing now just because there's always the faithful, if you will. But yeah, it's going to be better in version 2.0 and version 3.0 and on. I mean, it doesn't have a camera, for example. A lot of us would have liked to have seen that for video chat.
Or a USB port.
Or a USB port. Now again, there will be workarounds. Apple sells a little camera connectivity accessory, so you can get pictures on the device. I suspect other people will add accessories, but yes, that'll all be there, I suspect, down the road.
Question for you, Ed. To what degree is Apple throwing down the gauntlet here? How are other companies going to have to respond to the challenge that this device presents?
Well, if the tablet takes off, as it really never has, as we talked about earlier, tablets in some form or another have been around for more than a decade. I mean, Microsoft made a big push in the early, 10 years ago or whatever it was.
Right, and it was unsuccessful.
Unsuccessful, except in a few niche areas.
And Apple itself actually tried to launch a tablet.
Well, Apple had the infamous Newton, right, which Steve Jobs, upon his return to the company, ended up killing. It was John Sculley, the former CEO, had been pushing it. There's no question, though, if the tablet form factor takes off, and I think they're off to a terrific start here, then other companies are going to have to respond.
What does terrific mean? When I did the review of reviews, I sort of, my impression of your review, given the fact that you had some reservations, is that it's a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
I think that's fair. But that's still a very high rating. I mean, again, I had the same reservations other people have. What do you need it for?
Right.
Surprisingly enough, however, I found that it was really a handy companion. I'm one of these people, I'm a geek, and I admit that. But I do a lot of surfing just on the spot. This is,
Did you try to push the battery life? I mean, did you just sit there and watch as many movies as you could stuff on it?
I watched quite a few movies. I read e-books. I did all the things you would expect. And the battery life is actually very impressive. Apple's saying 10 hours. I actually did better than that.
All right, Ed, we thank you so much for stopping by.
First
Ed Baig,
look at the iPad.
Personal tech columnist with USA Today.